Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite cash game plays for this Week 7 NFL DraftKings main slate. Let's dive right into it. And like I always do here in these videos, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of my cheat sheet, breaking down some of my favorite cash game plays here for this Week 7 NFL DraftKings main slate. But before we dive into the quarterbacks, everyone, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Every like, comment, and sub that you guys leave truly does help me out, and it's completely free to do. And speaking of free, you can see my free Discord channel mentioned above. This will be the last weekend that it is open to the public. I'll still send out private invites, but at this point now we have close to 900 people in the Discord, and we're getting way too many spammers and scammers, however you want to put it in there. So I'll keep it open to the public for one more weekend here. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment below. With that being said, let's dive into the cheat sheet here. We're going to kick it off at the quarterback position now. Literally as I record this, I just hopped on Twitter here quickly, and Deebo Samuel is saying that he's questionable, like truly questionable, heading into Sunday. It sounds like his heel is really bothering him. If he happens to miss, I will pivot off of Jaden Daniels here and go to Patrick Mahomes as my high-priced favorite quarterback play. If we do get Deebo Samuel in this game, it changes things for me. You have to assume that he's going to be healthy enough to play against a very bad Cowboys defense. So, recording this here on Friday, another reason to join the Discord. I'll put in my final cheat sheet probably Saturday night this weekend because I'm traveling Sunday morning, but I will put out a final cheat sheet in my Discord this weekend, kind of breaking down here my final favorite plays. But as of right now, I'm going to give this video an advice here, assuming that Deebo is going to play in a great matchup against the Dallas Cowboys. We know the rushing upside that Jaden Daniels provides when it comes to the quarterback position. We love that in DFS. On top of that, this secondary for the Dallas Cowboys is abysmal, and it sounds like Trayvon Diggs is not going to play here in Week 7. So all signs point to this being a great matchup for the Washington Commanders, but you can see I have that asterisk next to the name. I don't know why I was forgetting that, but the asterisks are essentially saying here, like, we need to kind of wait and see what happens with these players and teams heading into the weekend. But with that being said, I do like Patrick Mahomes here. If you can find that extra $100 to get up from Jaden Daniels to Mahomes, Mahomes has been truly dominant this year. Plus, he gets his number one wide receiver back this week in Rashee Rice. If we're looking to spend down here this week, Caleb Williams sitting in a really good spot against the New Orleans Saints, $5,800, very reasonable for him for shooting for 3x value in our cash lineups. That's less than 18 DraftKings points, and Caleb's been able to do that pretty much every single game so far this year. And then Bo Nix at $5,600, I think that's too cheap considering the matchup at home for the New York Giants. If I'm looking to spend down here this week, Nix and Caleb really stick out to me, but if possible, I think I would like to get to Daniels and Mahomes. Their ceiling scores this week look really nice. When it comes to the running backs this week, it's pretty straightforward for me. I know there's a few others that are going to be talking about guys like Breece Hall, DeAndre Swift. Those are more tournament plays in my opinion, which is a reason to stay tuned. I will be posting my final tournament plays video immediately following this. But Jonathan Taylor, this guy's pretty much locked into 20 plus touches game in and game out. If they just happen to be trailing in this game here against the Los Angeles Chargers, he'll be more involved in the passing game. If they're playing with the lead, they're just going to give him the rock more in the running game. And I know a lot of people are looking at this price tag at $8,800, but honestly, everyone, he should be $9,500 or even $10K based on how he's playing. So I don't think it's going to be long before he's priced in those ranges. Now, if I'm looking to spend down here at the running back position, Judkins of the Cleveland Browns is sitting in a nice spot here this week against a very bad Miami Dolphins defense. We obviously don't love the quarterback situation for the Cleveland Browns right now, but surprisingly, they are favorites in this game at home against the Miami Dolphins. Probably not going to be the case for them all that often this season. And then Vidal here basically took over as the number one back for the Los Angeles Chargers with Hampton out. Could they change things this week? Sure, but I don't think they're going to. Vidal was truly much better than Haskins was last week, and at $5,500, he's offering a nice price tag there. Josh Jacobs is also sitting in a really good matchup here against the Cardinals. If you wanted to save $1,000 off of Jonathan Taylor for him, I have no problem with that. I would like to get to Taylor myself, considering how dominant he's been this year, but if I do need to save $1,000, I don't have any problem getting to Jacobs. Now, before we dive into the wide receivers here, everyone, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Completely free to do, and every like, comment, and sub that you guys leave here, again, truly does help me out. Talked about this a little bit already. Deebo Samuel, just before I started recording, like literally minutes before I started recording, I saw on Twitter here that his ankle, or heel rather, is really bothering him. If he does play in this game, though, this is a smash matchup for him against this Dallas Cowboys defense. Like I said, it sounds like Trayvon Diggs isn't going to play here this weekend as well. It's just decimating that secondary even more, so we need to kind of wait and see here with Deebo Samuel and the Washington Commanders, but assuming he plays, he's in a really good spot. The most popular play this week, not just at the wide receiver position, but generally speaking, is probably going to be Rashee Rice. I would be surprised if it isn't Rashee Rice. $5,600 here is just far too cheap, and I understand it's his first game back here coming off of the suspension, but this is a guy who's going to be in the 7K range before we know it, so I'll take advantage of that right away. Chris Olave, same song and dance with this guy week in and week out. He's pretty much locked into double-digit targets. I think there's been one game so far this year where he hasn't seen double-digit targets, and a pretty damn good spot here for him as well against the Chicago Bears secondary. Michael Pittman Jr. here at $5,100 also has an asterisk next to his name, not due to him and any injury that he's battling right now, but Josh Downs is in the concussion protocol. I have not seen an update here as of Friday, but he has not practiced prior to Friday. So if he happens to miss here this week, I think Pittman becomes one of my favorite cash game plays, especially considering that price of $5,100. When it comes to the tight end position this week, I think I'll just be spending down. I would like to get to Jonathan Taylor. I probably want to spend up at the quarterback position, but if I happen to spend down at the quarterback position, I could get to a Trey McBride or a Tyler Warren. I think both those guys need to at least be discussed when it comes to cash games. We know the upside they offer. We know the floor that they bring. I'll like Trey McBride even more if Jacoby Brissett plays here this weekend. But every cash build that I've made thus far, it leads me to spending down here at this position. Now you can see here, Harold Fannin Jr., if we get David Njoku to miss here with a knee injury, he has not practiced up till Friday. Again, I don't have an update here on him as I record this, but if David Njoku misses, love Fannin at this price of $3,900. If Deebo doesn't play, if McLaurin doesn't play, Zach Ertz looks really nice at $3,800 in a smash spot against that Cowboys secondary. Michael Mayer, kind of the same song and dance with him. You know, with no Brock Bowers here right now, he is the starting tight end. I think I prefer Fannin Jr. and Ertz a little bit more, you know, again, assuming that some of the guys miss on their team. But Michael Mayer is fine here at $3,500. And then Mason Taylor with no Garrett Wilson with the New York Jets this weekend. Where are the targets going to go from Justin Fields? I kind of like this play here at $3,400. So again, I foresee myself spending down at the tight end position this week, but don't overlook McBride and Warren here. If you have the money to spend up for them, I do think they're in play. And then we just got one lonely defense on the spreadsheet this week. Again, I want to spend up at the other position, so I just foresee myself spending down here for a defense. Again, with no Garrett Wilson, the #1 pass catcher for the Jets, who is Justin Fields going to throw the ball to? And he hasn't looked great himself to begin with, so Panthers haven't been a fantastic defense, but you're kind of punting at this price, and I seriously don't mind the matchup. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks, and let's win some money on this Week 7 NFL main slate.